Hello and welcome to the last episode of Churchill Mk.III build, where I will be finishing my works on the tank. Let's see what we are going to see. I will put some highlights. There will be a small figure assembly confusion, with a happy ending, I guess. I will use a toothpick on a wet tissue. And this all will lead to this end. Okay, let's start with figures then. I have 6 figures plus 1 camel to be assembled and painted. I tend to work by phases when I prepare few figures at once. Instead cleaning, assembling and painting each figure one by one, I first clean all the figures, then assemble them, and in the end I even paint them by colors. Here's how my workbench looks like when I begin the hand painting. As the paints I use are water-based, you find here a cup with clean water, water palette and a tool stand with 2 Winsor & Newton brushes and tweezers for the rescue. You know, just to have everything nice and clean and by the hand. Here you can find all the figures and accessories I have decided to put on my Churchill. Maybe not too much, but I don't want to overcrowd the model, as already there are 6 human figures plus a crazy camel. It is a total mix of parts from different sets and materials. We have here a wood stack, which is done from a small balsa sticks. I have glued them and connected with use of copper wire 0.3 mm diameter. Those 2 fuel canisters with tarp on the top are made of resin, which I love for beautiful details. And the rest of accessories are from different plastic sets, mostly Tamiya. Okay, so I start painting process by blending of basic color with black and white primers, which enhanced shadows and highlights. First round covers every spot of figure to layer the paint and to give me an opportunity to get to know with the surface of the figure. Then, in the next round, I follow the highlights and opened surfaces with use of highly diluted basic paint. It is not the end of coloring process, so I don't really mind about transparency of color. Next are shadows. I place them in all spots which were dark after priming. As you can see, a paint used in the process doesn't necessarily have to be very dark to do its job. Now it is time for highlights, and now my figures start to look just like Christmas trees. But seriously, at this stage it might look rather ugly and sloppy, at least until the blending starts. Yes, the blending. I blend both shadows and highlights with highly diluted basic color. After this, it is just a matter of corrections. You just add more shadows or highlights until what you see will make you happy. In the end, I often like to dry brush my figures with straight highlight color. It just brightens the scene of the figure, and we will need it very much just after the first gloss varnish cover. Gloss varnish which makes colors more expressive, deep and just better working together, you know. As you watch how a famous camel is being painted, I will tell you a bit about drawbacks of gloss varnish. It will definitely make your colors darker, and they will not pop up like before. You just need to remember about this while highlighting the figure just before the varnish. Principles with painting of accessories are pretty much the same as with painting figures. It is no surprise that I find it easier, and sometimes even the basic blending can bring results you won't have to develop too much further with following techniques. For building shadows and to make recesses and bends more pronounced, I mostly use Tamiya panel liners. In this case I will use dark brown and brown. The gloss varnish surface will help me with this job. Just look how wash is being sucked to all recesses and holes. If you get a bit sloppy with placing the wash, don't worry. Gloss varnish will come to help again, as it is quite easy to clean it from surface with use of enamel thinner. I tend to wait about an hour before I start to clean the excess of wash. For cleaning, I use cotton and tips and paintbrush. So we come to a stage which is very much rewarding. I mean, all your hard work which you have done on parts of the model to this point start to compose, work together as one image. And it honestly makes me happy. The whole setup of figures and accessories have been planned before. Nevertheless, it is no surprise that when you are joining all those elements together, one by one, some new ideas are coming to your head and you just start to change things. For example, I was planning to organize the scene as the figure, leaning from the tank's fender, is passing to a soldier a package of some kind. I mean, this figure. But that made my camel feel a little bit lonely. So I have decided that this leaning soldier will feed the camel with cracker. The other soldier got himself a job too. This job is passing some more crackers for camel from the opened package I will place on the other fender. Yeah, life of a modeler is full of changes and surprises. Okay, some more steps to be done just before I finish the model. In here, as you can see, I add a tarp for fuel canisters. It is a very simple process which can give you a really mind-blowing effects. To make such a tarp, just mix in a small bowl some wood glue with a bit of water to make it a liquid consistency. Then, with use of an old paintbrush, make a cut to size tissue wet, and while it is still wet, place it on the model. Then some positioning and organizing is needed, which you can deal with it by using paintbrush or toothpick. Then you just have to wait until it will harden and you can paint it. I use some lycra rigging line for fastening the luggage to surface. I use those lines a lot when I work with ships and they look just fine here too. When you are close to the end of the building process, time magically slows down and I have that feeling of never-ending story. Just one more detail, just one more correction, and you can go like this forever. So it is important to be able to say, stop. It is good enough. And this is what I'm going to do. Okay, just after I add those few more details. So, this is the end. Not only end of this video, but the whole series about the Churchill tank. Here you can see a first approach towards the final presentation. I was not entirely happy with the results, so I made some final changes. I have added a rolled tarp attached to the fender holders in the front. I also added some crackers for a friendly camel. I want to share some last thoughts on the model as we are closing to the finish of the whole series. It was not an easy build, but honestly speaking, I made it difficult by adding all those additional accessories like PE fenders or figures. The AFV Club model is rather an easy and rewarding option on its own, being built just out of the box. I'm very happy that I decided to build this tank. This is exactly what I was missing in my collection. There were many things that I wanted to test, practice, get to know with in this build, and I'm rather happy with this outcome. Of course, there are still some minor corrections to be made and things which I would do differently now, but at this stage I close this project and Churchill will soon join my collection of other armored vehicles. So, what is next? There is already another model waiting for build video. This time I will stay close to Second World War, but I will change the army, and what I can say now is it will not be a tank, but still it will have a big gun. I promise to go back to you with some more details soon and with an inbox review perhaps. But for now, I would like to thank you for joining me in this Churchill trip. If you like my video and you haven't done it yet, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Dear Camel, please say goodbye to all. Thank you, Camel. All the best to you and ciao!